Is November 23rd, 2022. It is very early as I'm filming this. Early morning start on this, but as I'm recording this episode, we are getting into Thanksgiving in a couple days, so that's going to be fun. Hope all you guys are having a great Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are having a great Thanksgiving celebration with you and your family. So what we're going to talk about this episode is going to be Bills back in the win column and really big win against the Browns there. And then the Lions are also on a roll. 3 in a row. They just beat the Giants. It's just crazy to think that the Lions are winning 3 in a row and they're beating pretty decent teams. We had the Giants. Bears was a close one. And of course they beat the Packers, but Packers are struggling a little bit this year. So don't know how much that counts as being a really, really good team. But I want to touch on that. And Chiefs are the Chiefs. I don't know. They seem like a really good favorite this year to win the Super Bowl. I think even on top of the Bills, I know Bills are favored to win on, let's check FanDuel. They're favored to win, but not by much compared to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are just a little bit more of a solid team in my opinion right now than the Bills, even though if I'm checking the odds, yeah, there we go. So the Bills are plus 400. The Chiefs are plus 470. I don't know. I think the Bills are good, but I think they just haven't really proven these past couple weeks. They got back on track last game, but these past couple weeks, I think these really close games, I feel more confident in the Chiefs winning them than I do in the Bills, but still halfway through the season basically. So we will see how this goes. And we also will try to preview a little bit of the Thanksgiving games coming up, see what I like, what I don't like, but should be a fun episode. So let's get into it. All right. So early on in this Bills game, it was a lot closer than I thought it would be going into the game with you would think that the Bills are just going to go. I thought they were going to go scorched earth on the Browns because, last couple of weeks, you're on a little bit of a losing streak. And so, you have that tendency to think that they're just going to go out and, really let loose. But the game was actually really close and a lot closer than I thought it would be. And there were a lot of times where Josh Allen wasn't always playing, or he wasn't always making these throws. There were some throws where maybe it was a pressure of the Browns there, but there were some throws that he missed. There was a couple that he missed there that I just thought that wouldn't. You could almost feel okay, is he starting to get a little bit unsure of of his game a little bit, or was it his elbow injury that everyone's kind of looking at? Didn't seem like. They made a big deal out of it. There were interviews with Von Miller on the Pat McAfee show where Von Miller was like, it didn't really seem like a big deal. So that's a thing that we have to look out for. I don't know if I don't think you can really sit him or even arrest him. And I don't think that's what he would want. I don't think that's what Bills Mafia would want. I don't even think that's what the coaching staff would want. Got a game tomorrow against the Lions. And I feel like if there was a game, you would maybe if at all you would think about sitting him, it could be against the Lions, but again, I really don't think that they're going to be sitting Josh Allen, especially when they are third in the standings or third in their division. Their division's way too close. They have to basically keep winning and keep the momentum going. So I just don't think that is a very smart thing to do. So I don't think that's going to happen. But it just, you kind of think about that. You think if there's a chance, or if you think that there is something going on with Josh Allen during that game. But then, they started to put together, I thought a big part of that game that was really good for them was the run game, right? Huge game for James Cook, Singletary, both at 86 yards of rushing yards. James Cook, that's maybe because I don't follow the Bills every single game, and I'm a Bucks fan and all that, but I didn't really know how good this guy was on the rush. It was almost it was just I'm is this a weapon they've always had? It was pretty awesome to see him and Singletary Singletary tear it up there. I think that is something to look out for moving forward for the Bills. Especially with, normally Josh Allen has the ability to run, but I think at this point, you don't want to risk him getting hurt. You don't want to risk his throwing arm getting hurt, anything like that. It was good game for for the Bills, and that's also another point that like it's something to look for is now the Bills can find success without having to rely on Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis like all the time and Isaiah McKenzie. Like these are like ways to win that you have to find, especially as you go late in the season and you make a run in the playoffs. Like you got to find different ways to win. And having this, having now Cook and Singletary, Singletary was always good, but like having Cook now is awesome for them. That's a good weapon. And yeah, I mean, so there was just a lot of, I think the rush game that they were able to show in this game against the Browns, I think now put more confidence back in people with the Bills. During the middle of the game, though, I think like a little bit of a, like are the Bills back yet, or are the Browns going to hold them off and everything? But I think eventually they proved that they could do it. On the other side, I mean, I think Jacoby Brissett played pretty well. I don't know if he played well enough to warrant like a question between him and Deshaun Watson. Although I don't know, like Deshaun Watson hasn't played in I don't know how, like 3 years at this point. I don't know, like that whole situation of his. So if you have the situation there, I think the question becomes like, do you play Deshaun Watson? How does he look? But again, Browns are 3-7. I think you got to play Deshaun Watson and just kind of, whatever happens there happens. But I think overall, this was a game that I think a good game for the Bills, like to just really get over the hump here. Again, the run game for them was strong. Stephon Diggs did get a touchdown, and there was that altercation in the beginning of the game where he wasn't getting targeted, and there was that talk with the coach. And, I mean, who knows what was being said there, but I think that anytime you have that where there's you think it might have been disagreement, or it could have just been the coach trying to explain to Diggs like what they were doing, and like he will get his touches and stuff like that. So at least he got a touchdown. So and they won the game. So winning kind of cures all there. So it all ended up good for them. But yeah, I think overall strong game. Dawson Knox 70 yards, Gabe Davis 68 yards. I think again moving forward they're going to need these guys to really keep it up and to step up, like guys like James Cook to step up. Naeem Hines did have he ended with -8 yards, but like I think he's going to come up big for them from the Colts, traded from the Colts there. I think he's going to come up big eventually, and they're going to be using him down the stretch. So all in all, good win for the Bills. I think that is a team that so the past 3 games, the crazy stat about the next upcoming games with them is that they have lost a bunch of games to their to teams in their own division, and that is something where if you want to win and make a run in the playoffs here, they're gonna have to be able to fix that, and I think they will. I definitely do. I think that who they have coming next year, they have Lions tomorrow. And then they have the Patriots, Jets, Dolphins. Those are 3 huge games. Like, I think that they have a good chance. 2 out of 3. I think they can beat the Patriots, beat the Jets. I think they could beat the Dolphins. Or although it's listed as TBD, I don't know if that's when that's going to be. But yeah, I think that they could beat the Patriots and the Jets. I mean, the Jets right now, that's a story. It's a story in itself. Which again, we can talk about that right now. Like, so everyone talks about how like the Patriots Jets game 3-3 to the very end. I mean, the Patriots or the Jets had what, like 2.7 something yards of offense. It was. I mean, I think they'll get that solved and everything. But you can't have like and there is Bill Belichick always being good against the Jets, right? They're 14-0 at this point. I think it was 14-0 or whatever. Like they are, that's unbelievable. That is an unbelievable stat line that Bill Belichick has beaten the Patriots or has beaten the Jets with the Patriots 14 straight fucking times. That is unbelievable. But like on the side of the Jets, like Zach Wilson at the post game, everyone talks about like, oh, he should have said something better. I think he did. I think he should have said something better. But I also don't think that like what he said should be taken too much. It seemed to me at least he was pissed off, and then he just wanted to. He wasn't in the best mood, so he wasn't really in it. So he didn't really have an answer to that reporter where it's like, oh, well, do you think you let your team down? But again, I do think like that is a layup of a question a little bit as a quarterback, a professional athlete. That's like classic. Yeah, I didn't do what I was supposed to. Yeah, or we should have played better. Oh, we as a team, we should have played better. he could have said something like that, but for him to just flat out say no, like just no. That is, you almost have to respect it a little bit, but it's just like he seemed pretty pissed off to be there, in my opinion. But I think that's something he'll learn over time, I guess. I mean, if I was in that position, I honestly, I would try to just like mess with a reporter. I'd be like, no, I think I played really well. I think I played amazing. We just didn't win. But no, it is what it is, and we'll see what happens next. I don't know if the Jets will start Flacco or whoever, but I mean, definitely Mike White is not the answer for the Jets. Zach Wilson, I think he can get better. I mean, I think it's too early to tell if he's like not good as a quarterback yet. I just think it's really too early to tell. I don't think one game like that should really. I mean, it's against Bill Belichick too. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you like? That guy. There's a reason why he's been 14-0 against the Jets. So I think that's something to take into account there. But yeah, so I think that that division is going to be close, but I feel like that division too, like, I just think the Dolphins and the Bills are the two teams to really watch out for there. The Patriots, they're good. And again, I never want to count out Bill Belichick, being a longtime fan of them, when Brady was there, but like, I just think it's not that the Patriots aren't going to be that good. It's more so that the Bills and the Dolphins are just too, like, they're too, they're the teams that are really good in that division. They're going to lead the charge there, but we'll see. I mean, you never know, right? Like this, I think that's one thing this season has been really crazy, and is that it's so unpredictable, right? I think like I mean, outside of, let's say, the Chiefs being really well, Bills being really well, Ravens doing really good, I mean, and Titans, doing really good. I mean, outside of those, those teams, Niners, no one really could have predicted Trey Lance going down. And also the Vikings playing well was out of nowhere, but like, that's what I mean. Like, this whole season has been so weird, I think, for me, compared to the past, like, I don't know, last 5 to 6, 7 years of watching how things pan out in every season. It's like, I don't know. It's been a really weird season in that way, right? Like, Packers not playing well, Bucks not playing well. They're trying to get back on the horse there, but still not really. It's still questions out on if they're going to make the playoffs. Eagles being undefeated for a while there. So it's been a weird season in that way. But so, I think it's interesting to see how the next half of the season is going to go. I think that's, I think normally you could say, like, by the time it's this point in the season, some of the teams, or a third of the teams, kind of know who they are and who they're not. But this season, it's like the Rams. Like, what the hell is going on with the Rams, right? Like, that is, I mean, I get it. Like, they lost Cooper Kupp, but even when they had him, like, and everyone was still healthy, like, they were not good. They weren't playing well, and they did bring everyone back, right? So I don't know. Like, that's kind of weird to see how that happened. The Cardinals, there's always a lot of I don't know, questions surrounding Kyler and Cliff. Like, how's that dynamic going? It has been a really odd season, just a really odd season, I think. Vikings, I think they're doing well in the sense, like, yeah, they might have just lost, but I mean, they got shelled. I mean, they got shelled by the Cowboys. That was a boring game to watch, but that was just dominance by the Cowboys. I can't. Like, and it came out of nowhere. Like, I don't even know. Cowboys just lost to the Packers. And I thought this game was going to be a lot closer. Vikings just emotional win against the Bills. Yeah. But get the Patriots tomorrow. I think it should be a good one. I think they'll bounce back. Hopefully, otherwise more questions are going to be surrounding Kirk Cousins and how he does. But right now, Patriots tomorrow 8:20, but the next couple of games all at 1:00, and everyone has that thing that they're saying about Kirk Cousins, that he only plays well at 1:00. So we'll see if that does hold true. I mean, the stats are the stats, so that'll be interesting to find out. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. It's just, I mean, the Niners, like, they just played last night, or 2 nights ago on Monday, but like, they are wagging right now, guys. Like, they are unbelievable with now getting McCaffrey, and the ability to, like, when you line up against them, like, how the hell do you stop this team, right? We got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Kittle, you got Ayuk, like, and then you got, Elijah Mitchell. Like, it's pretty, if there was a, sneaky good team, I don't even think they're sneaky, but like, if there was a team that can really make a run for it, can win the Super Bowl, as long as, like, they all play, stay healthy and Jimmy G still like plays well and stays consistent. I know sometimes in the past that has been a little bit of his people kind of tag him on that, like he's not as consistent all the time every game, but if he can stay consistent, just make the throws he needs to, and he has, like, I mean, that's like what I'm getting at is like he has done all that. Like I think that he has stepped in incredibly when Trey Lance went down. If he makes it, if he wins the Super Bowl, but I think even if he makes it to the Super Bowl, makes it past the first, second round, you got to think about like, okay, do you pick Jimmy G over Trey Lance? Like I know everyone was high on Trey Lance. I still think Trey Lance is really good, but how do you just let this guy go if he, number one, he plays really well. A lot of chemistry on the team when he's under center. Not that there wasn't with Trey Lance, but he's playing really well. The team plays well around him. He's led you to the playoffs, years back. I mean, if it wasn't for, a couple plays here and there in the Super Bowl, I mean, he probably has a ring. And he also came up against a hell of a team with the Chiefs. So like, I don't know how, like, what do you do with Jimmy G? Like if you're the Niners, that's going to be interesting to play out. Interesting to see how that goes. I want to see what happens with that. It's going to be, I'm happy for that. I mean, I'm happy for Jimmy G finally, getting his chance, like, and getting it in a way where it's like people could really see how good he is. And I think he is really good. He's gotten a lot better over the years. He always has been good, but he's gotten a lot better over the years. And that's really, great to see for him and the Niners. So I think the Niners are going to be really good moving forward. I think that, like, looking back, if you look at the standings here, who else we got I think the Ravens have a lot of momentum right now. I mean, they're a team I really enjoy watching, a team that I think is also going to be making a run for it. I think they get the attention they deserve, but I also don't think that I don't think they get the, like, I don't think people think they're going to go as far as I give them credit for going as far. And whether that's because the way they play is heavily reliant upon Lamar, I just think the Ravens are really good. They play a style where it is heavily dependent on Lamar's game, but also at the same time, like, they know, like, their identity, but they also get on these, like, runs, like, where they just have that momentum build. They got, when Mark Andrews gets on a roll, they got DeMarcus Robinson, like, they're really good. I like the Ravens right now. I think that they're on a roll, but like once they really get deep into the play, or once we get a little further into the season here, even more so halfway through, it's gonna be fun to watch them make a deep run for it. All right, so I want to talk about now, after talking about the Bills, I want to talk about the Lions. Now the Lions, the reason I want to talk about this is not because I think they're gonna make the playoffs or anything, but these guys have won 3 in a row, right? And they play against the Bills tomorrow. I don't think that, like, they're gonna win. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But if they hang in there with the Bills, that is going to be a game changer. And I think that makes Dan Campbell the coach for at least the next 2 years. At least. Because, and I think the thing with the Lions, I mean, they even just traded TJ Hawkinson away, right? But, like, the thing with the Lions is they are, like, heavy scoring team for the most part, right? Like, Packers, they only scored 15, but 31 against the Giants, 31 against the Bears, 27 against the Dolphins, 6 against the Cowboys, 45 against the Seahawks. Like, these guys can put up points, and if a team is not ready for that, and if they can't combat it, like, I think the Lions do a good job of forcing the other team to basically make their own mistakes and cost them the game. And I know that sounds like a shot a little bit at the Lions' own abilities or whatever, but that's not intended to be a shot. I just think that, like, you watch the Giants, how they played, and the Lions did really well against them. Danny Dimes throws 2 interceptions, right? Like, Saquon Barkley was limited to 22 yards. Like, this guy, he didn't rush for more than 25 yards. Like, that's on FanDuel, that's probably like a minus 5,000. And he couldn't even get more than 25 yards. That is unbelievable that they were to do that. It kind of forced the Giants to rely here on, like, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, the receivers. But still, like, the Giants' identity is Saquon Barkley. Right, and even Daniel Jones had more rushing yards than Saquon. Like, Daniel Jones can run, but at the end of the day, the Giants are a team where it's Saquon, and he's going to run it, and he's going to run it down your throat, and he's going to run it again, and he's going to run it again. So the fact that the Lions were able to stop the Giants from doing that, that's huge. And also on the other side, like if you look at Jared Goff, he only threw for 165 yards, right? Like it's not like he didn't throw for 300, and they didn't have so many crazy things. Jamal Williams stepped up. I mean, that's a big thing for the Giants or for the Lions. Big games from Justin Jackson, DeAndre Swift. I mean, these are guys that these are the guys from the Lions that you need them to step up. You need them to play well. In order for them to have success. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 76 yards, that receiving. That was, that's a big part of their offense, which is really great for them. But yeah, I just think that their ability to force turnovers, stop Saquon. Jared Goff has no turnovers. That was a big part of them winning. And I think that that's just something that, like, when they go up against the Bills tomorrow, can they force them to, it's going to be a lot tougher. It could be lopsided game here, but I also think that if Dan Campbell can keep the Lions within, let's check the lines, but the line is 9.5. If Dan Campbell can keep the Lions within 9.5 points, I would consider that a win. My pick on that one would be kind of difficult, kind of tough to figure that. I think I would go Bills minus 9.5. I don't know. Yeah, I'd go Bills minus 9.5, but I wouldn't really be shocked to see Lions keep it close. But yeah, like the Lions really just have the ability to put up points. And especially now, like this point in the season, they're getting consistent offense production. They're getting a consistent offensive production where they can put up these points against pretty good teams, right? Like, I mean, they put up 27 against the Dolphins, 30 against the Bears, 31 against the Bears, actually 31 against the Giants. So it's been pretty good for them to be able to do that. So big win for them. Excited to see how they'll do against the Bills. I think the Bills are going to take that for sure. Well, not for sure, but they're going to take that. But it should be a fun game. All right, now I want to talk about the Chiefs. So, man, the Chiefs are, my opinion, they are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Like, this feels like their year because no one is really making like a big deal out of them. That's what's kind of scary to me about the Chiefs, is that it's so common that they are this good and no one talks about them. That to me, that makes me believe that, okay, like this is probably a year where they make the Super Bowl, right? Everyone talks about the Eagles, if they should, Niners, they should, Bills, of course, but like the Chiefs are like Travis Kelce and Mahomes, that whole dynamic between the two, it's like a cheat code, right? And then you also, like, one thing I said before is that the Chiefs always have like weapons. Like they always create weapons with who they've got, right? Like you got Patrick Mahomes, threw the ball for 329 yards against the Chargers. Pacheco ran it for 107. Like Travis Kelce, 3 touchdowns. It's unbelievable what they can do, right? And then even when Juju Smith goes down, MVS comes, he kind of gets into the fold a little bit. But Justin Watson, Sky Moore, these guys are like, they're not as well known as the Kelce's and Edwards-Helaire and all that, but these guys are stepping up, and it's really, really good to see. And that's what's also kind of scary about them, is that, especially got Andy Reid there, they're so well coached and have such good depth, and they play really well. It's like, how do you beat a team like that? That's I don't know. That's going to be something that that's how do you beat that, right? Like how do you beat that? That should be interesting to see how things go for them. I think who they got up next. They got the Rams next. Good luck to the Rams. I think that let's see what the odds are there. They got the Rams, and the odds are, wow. The Chiefs are minus 14.5, and the money line is minus 1100. Minus 1100. That's not even worth touching. I'm just gonna not even touch that game. But man, that is saying a lot about the Chiefs that the books have that. Yeah, good luck to the Rams. But on the other hand, Chargers, the Chargers, this is a weird thing where like they kind of don't, like, they're not a bad team. I don't think at all that they are a bad team. I don't think that they I thought that they deserved to win that game. I feel like that was a weak call to give the Chiefs that first down at the end. But the Chargers have to win some of these games, man. Like some of the games where these are really close, they always seems to go the other way against, against the Chargers when they're in it. Like it always seems to go the other team's way. And, these are games where like at some point you're hoping that the Chargers can break through and win these close games, but they're what are they? They're 5-5. I feel like they could be a 7-3 team, or I don't know, 8-2 or 7. I feel like they can be a much better team, but sometimes like they just really can't seem to really come up with the wins in these really close games and all that. So I don't know, like is it because I think Justin Herbert, insanely talented. I would hate for him to be, in a case where his talent gets wasted. And it's hard, right? Because he's in this division with Mahomes and Mahomes really, and the Chiefs. I mean, the Raiders and Broncos right now are not a threat at all to him. But still, like he's in the AFC, right? Like this is one of those things where he's going to really have to play incredible, and the team around him is going to have to play incredible to get past the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Bills. I mean, this is right, like the Ravens, the Lamars, like all these guys, like they're gonna have to do a lot better than they're doing now to kind of get on the level of the other teams. But I don't know. It also kind of brings the question of like, is Brandon Staley in hot water a little bit, right? Because if they don't make the playoffs again, right, this year, I don't know how do you not even think about like, okay, maybe you should go in a different direction as the coach. And that's not like an indictment on Staley. I think like he's played really well, or he's done really well for them, but you got to win in this league, and I don't think you're trading Herbert, right? You're not. I mean, I think Eckler's playing well. I think Keenan Allen's playing well. I don't know if like I can't look at the roster that they've had and say that Bosa plays well. Like it's not like their team is a bad team. It's not like people have not been playing well. It's just like close games, right? I mean, look, I would take a quick look at the losses. Lost to the Chiefs, first time they played them, 24-27. Lost to lost to the Niners, 16-22, right? Like those close games there, if they just get touchdown, lost by a touchdown against the Niners. Again, lost to Chiefs recently, 30-27. Lost to Chiefs the other time, 24-27. Right. So if they just win, let's say 2 out of that, right? They're 7-3, much better team than 5-5. Right. So it's interesting that but again, it's not like, I'm not saying that they're terrible. I'm not saying that they're, it's the NFL, right? Every team's good. And you're losing to teams that are really good. You lost the Chiefs twice. That's understandable. You lose to the Niners, Christian McCaffrey, all that. But I also think sometimes it's how they lose, right? Like they're losing, they get a lead, they're looking good, but they just can't seem to close it out. Like that is sometimes or a lot of times what it's getting them is just that their lack of ability to close it out. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go with moving forward. If they don't make the playoffs, and it always comes down to these, crazy close games. We'll see what happens, but hopefully they can get it figured out. I like the Chargers. I like Herbert. I'm a fan of him. Fan of how they play and just how he also plays a game. Hopefully they can get some more success down the line. But as far as all right, so now in terms of my picks for upcoming games on Thanksgiving, Bills Lions. Let's start with that one. Bills Lions. I'm gonna go Bills -9.5. New York Giants against the Cowboys. You know what? I'll go Giants +9.5. Maybe that'll, I don't know. Let me think about this one. Giants, Cowboys. Giants coming off of a loss. Cowboys coming off of a big win. Yeah, I'll stick with it. I think Dayball and the boys will at least make it close. I think Giants +9.5 would be my pick. Patriots Vikings. 2.5 only. That's interesting. Give me the Vikings -2.5. That's one I like. So those are the ones I'll roll with. Bills -9.5. Giants +9.5. Vikings -2.5. That should be it for those picks on Thanksgiving. Hope you guys all have an amazing Thanksgiving, whether it's with your family, friends, even if you're alone. Try to find something to be thankful for. It's a crazy world out there, but I think we can all try to find something that we can be grateful for in this crazy road of life. This should be a fun week. This week's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the Bucks game against the Browns. Also, as you can see, I'm a Devils fan. Big win streak for the Devils so far, 13 games in a row. I'm going to talk about that more. Hopefully make some more videos about that. Yeah, and I'll talk more about the other games on the slate, hopefully, if I have time to make more videos. But if not, well, I'll just move on to next week. But as for now, thank you so much for watching or listening. Appreciate it. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have a great holiday. Enjoy the football. Enjoy your bets. Gamble responsibly. And have a good holiday. Have a good one. See you later.